Welcome back, everyone. I would like to introduce our first guest for today, Miss Katie Kemezis with Main Street McMinnville, to talk about National Preservation Month. Welcome to the show, Katie.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Good. Is this your second time coming on
that's
Table
right.
Talk?
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. We enjoy having you. There's a lot going on this month with Preservation Month.
That's right.
Tell us about, I was reading in the paper about something called This Place Matters.
That's
what is
right.
that?
This Place Matters is a month-long celebration of the historic places in Warren County, and it's in honor of National Preservation Month, which is I guess you could call it a celebration or an event, a month-long event put on by the National Trust for Historic Preservation. And the idea is to really just make people aware of course, of the beautiful, unique, and historic places that make Warren County, but also to bring awareness of what preservation can give back to a community and how it can be a great asset to preserve or rehabilitate and restore historic buildings.
And this is a movement that started many years ago all over the United States.
Right.
But I feel like we're starting to really enjoy the hard work that was done 20 years previously.
Absolutely. You know, you're right. I think it started in the early 70s just as a week, and it was so popular it grew into a month and has really blossomed into something that is experienced in communities across the country, small like ours and larger like Nashville and larger cities and whatnot. And I think you're right that we are reaping the benefits now that were probably sown many years ago. Both, we're learning a lot more about how historic buildings contribute to our community, that research is being done, and even how it contributes to saving our environment and to helping with affordable housing and other social ills. So you're absolutely right that we're in a way just keep learning how sticking with our historic buildings instead of demolishing them and trying to protect them the best we can is really kind of coming back and helping us in the end.
And it keeps the landscape so beautiful. You can't even compare the architecture between something built today, your strip mall type situations versus the old style of buildings.
I think you're exactly right, especially in a place, in a small community like this. We don't have starchitects and we don't have big engineering companies that can do amazing things like Calatrava's train station in New York City or whatever, the Frank Lloyd Wrights of the world and all of that. We have these beautiful buildings that are an artistic and architectural expression that is of a quality that it's hard to find these days.
So we were, I guess I was reading a little bit too about all the places on the historical register. I didn't realize there were so many in Warren County.
That's right.
How many historical landmarks are there?
We have 21 places, I should say, on the National Trust or the National Registry of Historic Places, which is administered by the National Park Service. It's a registry of structures, sites, which is our places without buildings, items, which are like monuments and things like that, more objects. And then I can't remember the last one off the top of my head. I believe it's cemeteries. So, so we have 21. As I mentioned, we have everything from cemeteries to a former gas station. We have 6 properties downtown, including our post office and our public library. So we have a wealth of buildings that reflect not only our local history, but even some state history as well.
I noticed that even on roadways, if it was, you think of the Trail of Tears and things like that, the monuments on the side of the road, just commemorating that this was the path that was taken.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just trying to interject how these places were special in the past and how they reflect a shared past that we have, a Warren County shared past, or maybe even in that instance a national shared past.
So tell us about preservation and its role in economic development.
Absolutely. In a town like ours, there are a couple different ways that we benefit from it. There's some that are kind of have an immediate impact. Historic buildings tend to be have smaller spaces, which are more affordable. So a small business, whether a retail shop or an office, some sort of office space, can afford those rents and kind of get started in the work that they do, that they may then evolve and become bigger, but they're hiring people. It allows them to grow into that space and then maybe even grow bigger. So it's a little bit of an incubating space. Additionally, we're learning that shoppers who are coming downtown, retail shoppers, are more interested now in experiences. So walking into a charming storefront that has kind of this historic feel to it contributes to that experience and is more likely to attract shoppers than something that is, as you said, more of a kind of cookie cutter, kind of strip mall kind of experience, especially when it comes to retail. And then there are there's a longer term impact. One we know from research that heritage tourists who are seeking historic experiences, whether that is going on a tour of a historic home or coming to a downtown that has a lot of character and history to it, they typically spend more and they typically stay longer. So they make a major impact on the communities that they visit. And ultimately, if we have a place like McMinnville that starts to have this ethic of preservation where it's much more in demand, people are aware of it and they want special subcontractors and contractors to come and work on their homes, those are more talented, higher paying jobs. So that might mean that there are local folks here who, they train so they can restore a wooden window or whatever it is, and they're going to start to move up in their career and have a more sustainable income stream.
Right. Okay. That's very, lots of different aspects of that you really don't even think about.
Absolutely. There are even more.
I'm sure. I'm still waiting for one of those larger buildings downtown to become like an incubator space for businesses. There's several down there that would be just perfect for that. So maybe in the future. We're still growing.
We're working towards that.
Yes. So tell us, you brought a picture of some of the items with the scavenger hunt that's going on, because you've got a lot of fun things. To engage people during Historic Preservation Month. That's
right. We are currently in the middle of a scavenger hunt. It started on Friday and it ends on Monday. And it is, we're indebted to Ian Riley Photography, who created this form for us. And it just has a number of different buildings downtown, and it's just a piece of them. So some of them I'm sure are quite recognizable, and some of them might be a little trickier. So you come and you can get this form at Tops. Or you can get it at the Main Street office or on our website. You could just download it and you fill it out, take it, walk around downtown, see if you can spot these different buildings. And then once you filled it out, you'll be entered into a drawing. So we'll have a gift card to Weathered Arrow for $50, a $35 gift card to Trendy Trunk, and $15 to Tops as the prizes. So again, if you can reach out to Main Street if you need help finding this, we'll get you to it. But we're excited to have people get to see their buildings a little differently.
Yeah, well, I do recognize some of the places on there, but there's a few that would be mysteries to me. So it would take a little bit of walking around and studying them, but it's a great time to stroll around downtown anyway.
It is, especially Saturday morning and nice cool air, and then going to the farmer's market. It sounds like a perfect morning. And
so this is still going on. Is this through the end of May?
It's through May 21st, and so that's Monday, but you can turn it in. You turn the completed forms in. You can scan them in and send them, or you can just drop them off at the Main Street office on our door. We have a little box for them.
Okay, so there's other events going on.
That's right.
So tell us what else is going on
That's
this
right.
month.
We have on May 21st, Monday, May 21st, we have a presentation called Attention Needed, the Essential Before You Buy Checklist. And it's a presentation by Josh Baker, Matt Sands, and Nolan Ming. Josh Baker has a plumbing and electric company and he's worked on older buildings. Matt Sands owns Tops with Josh and Cumberland Biscuit Company, and has done an amazing job taking those older spaces and making them feel fresh and repurposed. And Nolan Ming is our Director of Community Planning, who oversees the Historic District. And they'll be talking about what you should know before you invest in a historic home. Where, pretty common trouble, or not trouble spots, but places that you should check to make sure you really know what you're getting yourself into.
Right.
So they'll be speaking about that and about what, potential ways to kind of move to restore a property, some of the resources you have at hand. And Nolan will be speaking about the historic district downtown and what exactly it is. What does it mean to have a building in the historic district? What kind of controls are on it? What's the process? Just so people have an awareness of that in case they want to invest downtown.
Yeah, I was going to say, anybody interested in investing in a building down there, or even renting a building down there, you kind of need to know what the criteria is for doing that, and
why we have a district. What does it provide to our community and to our downtown. And there's one more thing that we have. On May 31st, we'll be announcing 2 awards. One is the You've Caught My Eye Award, which will be a storefront display award for a business downtown that has that wow factor, or what we call the return factor, where you just drive by it because you just like it. You just want to see it every day, or whatever it is. And the other award will be the Golden Award, which is a preservation oriented award for property owners downtown who just do an exceptional job preserving or rehabilitating their building. And we are dedicating that to Jeff Golden, who was a longtime board member for Main Street McMinnville.
Well, those are 2 awesome ways to give people a pat on the back for all the efforts that they do, whether it's keeping their storefront up or doing their windows, because that is a big draw for customers to come and visit and that type of thing.
Absolutely.
So, okay, last year Rachel was here and we talked a long time about lots of different projects. One of those that I remember is the hospital restoration and kind of rejuvenation of the old McMinnville Clinic. How is that going?
It's going well. That is really a success story. As many of you, as you've said, it's a clinic. It was a hospital space. But they've done an incredible job of restoring the inside and making it into office space. So they're repurposing the building, and the way it's set up with the compartments, the little rooms, that's perfect for renting out to little businesses. So that's coming along very well. I think the next step is Rachel and I are going to investigate putting on the National Register and see if it's eligible for that. It's got a lot of stories beyond serving the people of McMinnville, and we look forward to digging into those a little bit more. And then I think they still even have some spaces available for rent. So if you're looking for downtown office space, it's a great place to start.
And I'm sure they're still selling the bricks that you can buy to help with the preservation efforts.
Absolutely. The commemorative bricks go on the front walkway, so they're visible from Main Street and easy to get to when you're downtown.
Lots of people, we were talking before the show started, born in that hospital.
That's
and
right.
What a great way to commemorate someone that had their beginning there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe came back for a few stitches.
Yeah. True. Typical childhood, I'd say. So tell us about what other preservation efforts that are going on that we may not even realize.
Absolutely. I think many people probably saw when the Methodist Church across the street from the clinic had some some wind damage to its steeple, and there was a cherry picker that was there for a couple weeks trying to fix it. So I think if you can check in with them, that's complete now. But it's a great story, and just to hear about the work that was doing, because that's a National Register site. So it's got a great history to it, and there's obviously beautiful architecture. So check in with them to get the lowdown on that. But then the Hargroves building, which is on Court Square, has been recently bought by Panther Creek Forestry, which is a forestry consulting business. And they have done incredible work to bring that building a little bit more back to life. It had a little bit of structural issues, and they're working on those. And they're also, if you walk by now, they have taken the paint off of the storefront, so you can see the beautiful wood that's exposed right now, and they're going to cover that back up to protect it, but you can walk by. We also learned, we took off a sign off of the front, and there are, when you walk by, you see it, there are blocks of glass. Those are actually called prism glass by the I think it's the American Prism Company is where those specific ones came from. And that was a very special type of glass that was built to take light and bounce it back into the building, because that building is incredibly deep, and there, those big windows can only let in so much light. So this was a technology used at the beginning of the 20th century to help move light further back into the building when electricity might have been weak or not available or not trustworthy or whatever it may have been.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and those are rare finds. That's not something you see in every storefront. You'll see a building next door has block glass as well, and that's just regular glass. That's not this special technology that bounces the light.
It's so neat what you uncover whenever you remove some of the things that we've covered things up with over the years.
Absolutely. We're also excited. I'll share one more project, and that's the Vanilla Bean Company has bought the building that was previously Tadpoles and Tiaras, so right by the Farmers Market arcade. And Sally Robeson and her team are doing a great job to bring that building to refresh it. It was in pretty good condition when she got it, but she's giving it a new lease on life as a bakery, and they're doing a great job to kind of protect the inner assets, the beautiful brick wall and the pressed metal ceiling, so that those things can be part of the story of that, continue being part of the story of that building. And they're going to do some great work to the storefront as well to make it very engaging as well, but complementary and compatible with the historic material that's there. So we're really excited to see that one come online as well.
Yes, and I'm excited to have a bakery that you can go to downtown. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Katie.
Absolutely.
I feel so smart now from all of the neat preservation things that are going on, and it's very interesting to see, or refreshing to hear all the good, positive things going on downtown.
Absolutely.
We all need that.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it for this segment. Up next, Brian Kell is at the table here on Table Talk. So come right back.